My name is Lena, and I'm the librarian at the Cone Park branch of the Alachua County Library District. The holiday season is upon us, and that means lots of time in the kitchen. Today, we're going to go over a few basic kitchen skills to help you get started. So let's get started by looking at how to measure dry ingredients. So we're going to start with flour. Now, flour can be very, very fine. So if you stick your measuring cup into it like this, it's actually going to press down that powder and you're going to end up getting more than you want. So it's important to remember with flour to use a spoon to fill your measuring cup up. And then once it's full, and heaping is just fine, you're going to take a straight edge, like the back side of a butter knife, and you're just going to run it across the top to make sure that you have a nice, even surface. Just like that. Now, sugar is not as fine as flour. So to measure sugar, it's perfectly okay for you just to dip your measuring cup into your bowl of sugar. I always like to shake mine just a little bit to get some of that excess off. And then you're going to use your flat edge of the knife again to just go right over the top and make sure you have a good, even measure. Brown sugar, however, is a little bit different. A lot of times when you're looking at recipes, it asks for packed brown sugar. So what does that mean? It's really simple. It just means that you're going to pack the sugar into your measuring cup. So you'll take your measuring cup and make sure you get a nice bit of sugar in here, and you can use a spoon or your hands to just press down on that sugar to make sure that it's packed tightly into your measuring cup. Then you're going to take that flat edge again and just get rid of whatever excess might be on the top of your cup. Now, the cool thing about brown sugar is when you pack it correctly, it keeps its shape when you dump it out. So now let's talk a little bit about knife safety. The three most popular knives used in a kitchen are a small paring knife, a serrated bread knife, and a chef's knife. So before we get started with our knives, let's make sure that our cutting board is stable on the table. We don't want it to be moving a whole lot because that could lead to injury. So a nice trick to keep your cutting board stable is to put a wet paper towel underneath it, and that will help hold it in place. You see, it doesn't really slide the way that it used to, okay? Then let's talk about knife grip. So a lot of people hold their knives like this, which is really not the best way to hold a knife. When you hold a knife like this and you try to cut, you can put pressure unevenly on one side of the blade or the other and end up hurting yourself. Also, holding the knife back here doesn't give you really control of the knife at all. The same way with having a really light grip, you're not going to keep control of your knife that way. So the proper way to hold a knife is to take your pointer finger and your thumb, and you just want it really right there on the edge of the blade. And then you're going to take the rest of your fingers and wrap it around the handle. This gives you a lot of control as you're going to cut with your knife. Also, when you go to cut, you don't want to do just a chopping motion. You're going to end up with a really uneven cut that way, and that's a lot more work for you. Slicing is going to do the same thing. So the best way to cut is to use a nice, even rocking motion. How does this work? Let's try. So we have our carrot here. So you see, we're just going to take this and do that nice rocking motion forward. Or actually, I come back with mine. So you never really have to lift your blade, okay? I'm not holding my carrot properly. Let me show you what I mean. The way I have my hand right now, as the knife moves closer, I'm going to cut off my finger. Do you see the blade is coming down close to my finger? You don't want to do that. So whenever you're cutting, you want to make sure that you're not holding like this with the spread hand. You want to make a claw. And what this does is it protects your fingers from getting cut, but it also gives you a nice, secure place to guide your knife. Okay? So now let's try cutting that carrot again. So see, we have our carrot. I've got my claw, and I'm just going to rock back with my knife, and as I do, I'm moving that claw back. so that I am not in danger of hurting my hands, and I'm getting a nice even slice on my carrot. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you learned a little bit that will help you this year in the kitchen. Until next time, have a wonderful Thanksgiving.